praises, honor, and glory to
Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHUSHA, BAHASHAM,
Alright, want to give double honor spots to elders in Millstone, Shalom, Shalom, to all your brothers out there taking this serious. Alright, for the Hebrew Israelites back out here once again to prophesy the downfall of Israel's kingdom and to bring remembrance of the children of Israel, which consists of so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, to bring them back to our God, which is Yahawah, to our Lord, YAHAWASHI. So it's Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Yahawah is with this word ignorantly because God. Yah means he, Hawa means to exist and to be. Alright, BAHASHAM is in the name. Alright, YAHAWASHI is with this word ignorantly because Jesus. Yah means he, YAHAWASHI means saves and delivers. All of that's in the ancient Hebrew tongue, which is the Paleo Hebrew. Alright, which is the ancient tongue spoken by the ancient Israelites, which are our ancestors. We have to return back onto that language to call upon the Heavenly Father as the Son. You don't need to know the entire Bible in that language, but you need to know those names. Alright, because those are the only names where we must be saved. Alright? So the scripture says. So Lord willing that this can't stretch and edify your brothers up there and you might have I want to talk about how what's happened over there in was it Maui? Maui? I don't know how to pronounce it.
Hawaii, Maui, Hawaii.
Yeah. And that all of that kind of thing is going to happen over here in America, you know, in a national scale, right? And from what Quad did a video of it. Quad did a video. I know I mentioned this one video on Twitter that I saw, you know, recently. But I'm gonna I can mention it again. But Quad did a video about how there's looting over there, and there's looting, and there's women being raped in the midst of the chaos. So I'm gonna get second headset. This is the type of things that's going to happen over here, specifically over here in America.
Yeah.
Right? And even worse. Oh, there was a video I saw on I'm not sure if it was on Twitter, I think it was on Twitter. People trying to escape the fire, so they jumped into the ocean. They jumped into the ocean, and that reminded me of what happened over there in Pompeii. You know, because there was stories of what happened over there in Pompeii and stuff like that. That people were so desperate to escape it or to not die by the fire. Some people were killing themselves. Some people, since there was no boats, you know, they started running off into the ocean, trying to swim and everything. You know, similar to how kind of the story
the currents are tough, though, because how the ocean over there.
Yeah, it showed on the video with the people jumping into the ocean. Maui, the waves were crashing into the cliffs. You know, it was very violent waves. It you know, also reminds me of the movie Titanic. You know, when people were so desperate because there's no boats, people were jumping into the waters. You know, even though it was cold and stuff like that. You know, but that desperation, you know, people don't want to die to those type of things. Those type of things are going to happen over here in America. That kind of desperation, you know, and it's going to be very, very dark here. And if you don't have Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHUSHA, you're gonna end up with those people.
Yes.
You know, we have to put that in our mind. You know, especially when the scriptures talk about when you pray, prepare yourself to pray. You have to think upon those things. That's why he says the house of the wisest and the wise on the house of mourning. You read that in the NLT. Since the house is always thinking a lot about death, because that's what keeps us right, keeps us straight. It's the fear of Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHUSHA.
That day that's coming is gonna be no matter what you do. If you don't have the truth with you, you know, everywhere you go, it's gonna be death. If it's a fire right here, and you decide you want to avoid the fire, you go that way. You could get gunned down. You know, you could get stabbed. You know, everywhere you're gonna look, it's gonna be death. You know, right. Doesn't matter what you do.
And we have to declare this. We have to declare this thing that we know, because we know what's coming. Just as Noah did, Noah prophesied. You know, Noah prophesied of the water coming down and everything like that. You know, but no one wanted to listen to him. You know, no one wanted to listen to him. It was the same with what it says in 2 Peter. You know, the 3rd chapter. You know, that everything continued as it were since their fathers fell asleep, which fathers fell asleep since their fathers died. You know, people have that kind of mindset that their normal life that they're having right now, that it's going to continue on forever, which is incorrect, because we're living in the last generation. We're living in the last days. You know, these things are about to. You're about to behold these things. You know?
Yo, not only that, nowadays a lot of prophecies have already come to pass.
Yeah.
So it's already obvious what time we're in.
Yeah, you can read that in Second Peter chapter 9. Let me get that real quick.
Maui is Hawaii is an example, you know, because what happened to them is that there was no warning, there was no siren, the internet went down, Esau cut off the water, and there was, for some reason, there was school was out, like they canceled school, sent the kids home, you know, all that, and people don't know what the hell was going on, and next thing you know, this happened.
Yo, now imagine,
you know?
imagine if that happened in New York.
This is 2 Peter chapter 9 verse 1. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest parts of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it's the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when thou shalt see earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things that was from the days that were before thee, people from the beginning. Even like as all that is made of the world is beginning and an end. The end is manifest. Even so, the times also in the highest have been plain beginnings, and wonders, powerful works, and endings, and effects and signs. That's right. We know that we're living in the last days. We shouldn't even be playing around, man. You know, those people who need to have warning, man. If there's any brothers, just as you know, as Keith Parson in the video he mentioned as well. You know, many brothers over there in you know, Maui, or Maui, or whatever you pronounce it.
It's one of the islands.
If there's any brothers over there, you know, I know, I'm sure that they're safe, but you know how the brother said, pray for the many. That, you know, if any brothers are over there that are sincere in this truth, you know, I'm sure those brothers are safe, you know, have faith in YAHAWASHI and YAHAWASHI.
That's just a taste. That's just a taste for what to come.
And it was in a small area, you know. We're willing that it happens in other areas too. We want these prophecies to come to pass, but we already know that prophecy has to come to pass in terms of the mark of the beast. We know that has to happen.
Yeah, I'm always surprised they built up that town into a way to make it more convenient, because they lost so much. They lost losing, I think, 1 million a day, I think, or something like that. It's losing a lot of money by the day, because it can't function. There's no businesses, there's no shop, there's no, you know how any city. There's no tourist spots. It says it left a burden on tourism, so it's not making money. So how you build a town so quickly? Let's say because the rich already acquired it, you know. So let's say because they're putting so much effort rebuilding it, they're eventually going to end up rebuilding it. For the agenda that Salih has is that they want to convert it into 50-minute cities, a convenient city. But I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to eliminate cash in that area. It's like one of the first places that they don't have to use cash, because they want to effectively boom their economy quicker. So they're going to have to go digital, you know?
I can see that.
Yeah, that's their agenda, you know?
This is 2nd Ezra chapter 16 verse 1. It says, woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto Egypt and Syria. Gird up yourselves with cloths of sack and hair, and bewail your children and be sorry. for your destruction is at hand. A sword is sent upon you, who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you, who may quench it? And YAHAWASHI, he's gonna cast these things, and nothing can stop it. You know, Esau can't upset prophecy. Just as the scriptures say, there's nothing you can do against the truth before the truth. You know, because everything that you do is already written in the book. You can't go aside of it. You have a script to play. You got a role to play, and that's what's happening. And that's why though we want these fires and stuff like that to happen on a worldwide scale, we understand that prophecy has to come to pass before those things can happen. You know, we understand that. You know, that's where. As brothers in this truth, he's saying like, hurry up, Esau, hurry up and set up your fucking thing. But Esau does this gradualism thing. But when he realizes that his time is short, all of that he's gonna try to fast forward it. And he's starting to do that now, understanding that his time is drawing nearer and nearer to its end. You know, that's why you're seeing Esau becoming more and more sloppy. You know, that he's starting fires that he can't even stop. You know, because that's what he does. He does order out of chaos. Right? So he's going to cause chaos, but he can't stop that chaos. He can't bring a solution to it. When he offers a solution, it may happen in some places, but since he done it in a greater scale than what he usually does, he can't quench all of it. You know, he can't quench all of it, and it's just going to spread from there.
Because it's mental. This devil is a complete tool of YAHAWASHI. Yeah, he was a sword. He's created as our whipping stick. So he's also a pain in the ass to the rest of the earth, pretty much.
Yeah,
you know.
And since the men of YAHAWASHI, the ones that were part of those, the elect, are being refined day by day, and as YAHAWASHI draws closer, and you know we're about to receive that purification. What need is it for Esau? What need is it to keep Esau, which he's the weapon of the Heavenly Father? He's basically the belt of the Most High. What kind of belt is needed if there's no one to chastise? There's no one to beat straight. You know? And that's why in the kingdom, that's why after 1,000 years, Esau could be done away with, because there's no need for him.
So this devil tried desperately. All these fires, because there's a map talking about but anyways, you know, this devil creating all these fires, and it's true. Like, he can't control it. He can control it by much, but he can control it all, because a lot of things is becoming out of control. And that goes to that scripture that, you know, the Lord was going to come with fire. What am I? If it already been kindled.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, it's just going to go. The things is going to go forward, and it's going to keep going forward and forward and go forward. It's not going to stop.
He's not saying he trusts in his source engine. He trusts in that. So continuing, it says, "Plagues are sent onto you. What is he that may drive them away?" And what's funny is that Esau, some of these plagues Esau causes, but who's the one who amplifies it? Who's the one who spreads it across? It's the Most High, and ultimately the Most High used Esau to even put that there.
Right.
So at the end of the day, it's YAHAWASHI that's making these things to happen.
So it's like the way YAHAWASHI does it. He sends plagues naturally, and he sends plagues using these devils. Okay, you know. This devil is Esau thinks that he's doing it himself, which is incorrect.
You know? Which is incorrect.
At the end of the day, the whole world's going to start feeling that pain. It's going to feel that pain, and it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. It's going to get worse. You know?
Just as the Apostle Paul says, it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Exactly. You know? And the better is the kingdom.
Yep. This kingdom has to go down. It has to go down for our continuing city to be risen up. You know? This place has to go down, and it has to go down with fire. YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, you know, from his angels and through the way of the ICPMs. Right? So continuing, it says, may any man drive away a hungry lion in the wood, or may anyone quench the fire and stubble when it has begun to burn. It says, may one turn again the arrow that is shot of a of a strong archer. The mighty Yahweh sendeth the plagues. Who is he that may drive them away? And no one can stop it. If the Most High is the one who sent it, no one can stop it. You know? And the scriptures talk about how the Most High controls both life and death. You know? And if he's the one bringing the death, who can stop it? Who can stop it? You know? Who stopped the Most High from burning down Sodom and Gomorrah? You know? From all these other wicked cities, man, leaving behind a memorial of their iniquity, of their sin. You know? In America, which is Babylon the Great, you know, the daughter of Babylon, you know, this place is going to be it's going to be a memorial on how not to rule a kingdom. You know? And all the other places that America controls will be destroyed as well. There's going to be no remembrance of Esau. There's going to be no token left behind, but only that token of shame. You know, when people look upon it, they're going to see the power of the Almighty. BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. You know, and see upon it a wicked kingdom, a foolish kingdom that went against the Most High. You know, and Sodom and Gomorrah was just a taste of things to come. As the scripture says, set as an example.
An example of for the ungodly. Mm-hmm. You know, and what's going on with this kingdom? That's a lot of ungodly things happening. You know, the whole world is being ungodly. Yep. You know, primarily Babylon the Great.
That's why it says in the 2 Ezra 15th chapter, I shall hold my tongue. Listen, on the second Ezra chapter 15 verse 8, it says, I will hold my tongue no more as touching the wickedness which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood cried unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. You know, that was the point there.
Basically, this whole world, especially Jacob, it's Jacob. Jacob is being stupid as hell. They're going to continue what the hell they want to do all the time. You know, and you know what? They're going to get, you know, the reward in the end too. You know, because of their deeds. You know, everybody's going to get something in the end. It's going to be a bigger gift than Oprah ever did give in her shows. Hey, for everybody, you know.
You're gonna have spirits great prevention. You know, the manifestation of people's nightmares. Yo, that's some terrifying stuff.
Yo, and we're the only people. All the actors are the only people preparing for that time, spiritually and mentally.
That's why that fire caught people by surprise.
Everybody was doing their own thing. They were just like it's going to happen also in the days of Noah, because we live in the days of Noah. Imagine people still planting, people still building, people doing their own regular old routine thing.
Imagine the terror in their eyes when that day just hits suddenly.
And that's what happened in, you know, again, we have to bring it up. That's what happened in Mao. Everybody got caught with their pants down pretty much. You know? Imagine that, but
on a scale 100 times worse.
And that's Mao.
It's not only fire you're gonna have to run from.
That's a tropical place. Everybody live like they're living in good days.
Yeah.
You know? And look what happened.
You know how many people arrange their marriages in Hawaii? A lot of people do that.
And one of the brothers put up a video talking about one of the things that women are extremely scared of. There's a lot of women, you know, since this is an Esau's kingdom, they're at ease. You know, they're at ease. So basically, that's why the scriptures say, "Rise up, you women that are at ease," referring to the nation of Israel mainly.
They're too relaxed. They're too comfortable. They're too prideful. They think they're independent. And guess what? The reason they're independent is because they got the gold card from Esau.
They were empowered.
They'll feel very important if they got a what they call a key food supermarket card. They're gonna feel like they're president. You know.
Basically, with that video, with that woman talking, she said one of the things that women are scared the most is that when shit hits the fan or when things go down, you know, that they're scared of what men can do to them, when they don't suffer consequences for it, you know, because there's so much chaos. That's what happened over there in Maui. You know, there were a lot of women, a lot of men. There was a lot of raping, there was a lot of looting. That's why the scripture talking about that men shall stand in the force of power.
So women, they better, you know, the first step when shit hits the fan, if you're not with this truth, you know, you might as well don't wear makeup. You know, don't wear nothing on your face. Dress like a street man bum, and maybe you'll have a chance and nothing happen to you.
If you try to have makeup on and look, it's basically putting a target on your face.
Pretty much. You're attracting attention. Maybe you'll reduce attention from 10 to at least 9. Because this is gonna be all kinds of shit going on.
Just as we mentioned last week, you know, we're not ashamed to declare these things. You know, we're not scared to declare it. You know, we make it known because these are the dark things that's gonna happen. You know, the reason we even do this is to move men to fear. By men, I mean both men and women. You know, we persuade them through the fear, through the terror of the Most High. You know, through the terror of the Most High, we persuade men.
I got research. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 39 and verse 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sword strokes in the time of destruction. They pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them.
That's right. You know, and there's going to be newly created creatures in that day, in that dark and dreadful day of YAHAWASHI. And the reason we're using Maui as an example is because of the chaos that was happening over there. You know, the confusion. There was confusion and absolute chaos over there. You know,
frustration.
Yeah.
All kinds of, with the men over there, they got frustration, desperation, you know, because they're hastening on everything. Women is just afraid. They want to stay home because they're afraid to come out, you know. And when they're hungry, they take this, while they're afraid, they'll try to come out of the house, at least trying to get something. But they're so afraid, they have to walk really, really slowly and look around them and see if anything will happen to them, you know. So there's all kinds of shit going on over there. And there's bodies laying on the streets. Just like I saw a video about bodies laying on the streets. You know, animals, people, whatever. You know? And a lot of children, they're not talking about it. A lot of children, they got a lot of bodies of children. All burned up and stuff.
You never know, there might even be murders happening in the midst of the fire, and they're throwing the bodies into the fire to hide it.
And you know, they're going hungry. They're going to want to eat something. And they'll eat people, you know. And you know that the Hawaii Maui, that's the land. That's one of the islanders, Japhet. That's their island, you know. And you know they got a lot of idol worshiping, and that's even more of a curse that they had to suffer that. This Jacob Manda, you know. So
literally scattered everywhere.
So Japhet will probably decide and try to eat Jack over there. They don't have that kind of moral that the scriptures have. They don't know the YAHAWASHI. So just these Japhet, they can decide, you know what? I decided you'll become a happy people. They're gonna try to eat freaking Jake over there. You know, continue. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 39, verse 29. Fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. You know, there could be animals out there, you know, roaming around because the zoos probably got messed up and whatever, and now they're all up and about.
Did somebody get that scripture where it says the righteous be scarcely saved? Oh, I think that's the second.
That's going to happen. That's going to happen in this third chapter. You know,
like, just jump. First Peter, man. First Peter?
Yeah.
First Peter, really?
Hold on. And these prophecies are not. It's not going to stop. It's going to keep going, and it's going to keep going, and it's going to keep going until it's done. Until there's no more prophecy. And the two major prophecies will be the Karaba, which is the grain of rice, which is the implantation, and then World War III. You know, there's more to come. You know, and YAHAWASHI is not finished.
It's what? 1 Peter 4 and 2.
And I'll read a quote that says, this is Isaiah 55 and 10. For as the rain cometh down, and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower, and the bread to the eater. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth, and shall not return unto me void.
Yeah, that's why Esau can't upset prophecy, because the Heavenly Father is spoken. You know, everything that we're doing throughout our entire life, that's why time moves only forward. You know, time only moves forward, man. And just as Apostle Tahar said on a video a long time ago, you know, time is on our side. You know, there's nothing you could do against the truth before the truth, because you're moving through time. You know, the time is not on your side, man.
People don't realize that he's moving, even though he's doing all this thing, he's actually moving backwards. He's actually moving backwards, because in the kingdom, he's gonna be a piece of shit, pretty much. Everybody's gonna narrowly look at him. You know?
I can't wait until that day.
You know, in that this wicked nations, it's like we're living in a book right now. The scriptures.
The scriptures.
You know, we're basically characters in a book, and it's whether you're a filler, a side character, or a main character. You know.
Meanwhile, this devil is saying, you know what? I'm gonna make sure that doesn't go forward. And guess what? It was written in the book, and he's gonna try to make sure that it's not gonna go forward, and he's gonna lose. Pretty much like that. He come upon us and, damn it. Okay, I have a plan. And this paragraph, it says he has a plan.
He has a plan.
And it's not, it's going to fail. It's just, he's going to get really frustrated. You know? To continue.
YAHAWASHI's the main character for the plot.
We're the main characters. YAHAWASHI's the star.
Oh yeah,
Thank you.
I used to say
Yahweh's the director.
He's the director.
I used to say Yahweh's the author. He's the author. YAHAWASHI's the main character, and we're the main character's allies. We're his friends. We're
the main supporting cast of the good guys. We're like the real Avengers, pretty much. We're the real Avengers. You could call us the Justice League too, because the scriptures is actually the justice of YAHAWASHI. We carry his ideology. How if you want me to put a more modernized term, you know, we carry his doctrine. We carry his plan.
There was a scripture that one of the brothers from New Jersey got out talking about the doctrine. YAHAWASHI saying that this doctrine is not of my own, but the one who sent me. You know, and the doctrine which we got is of YAHAWASHI, and the doctrine of YAHAWASHI that he got it from the Heavenly Father. So the doctrine ultimately that we have is this is a holy doctrine. You know, this is a holy doctrine, man.
And according to the world, we are of the brotherhood of evil, pretty much. Because we actually, it's like Team Magneto. The hell with Professor Xavier, because Professor Xavier represents the world. And Magneto represents the superiors, the one with the powers. And guess what? We with YAHAWASHI, we represent the higher power. This world here may have all these empty promises, but they don't promise you everything. They have a forked tongue all the time. They always tell you that this is good for you, this is good for you, and then behind the scenes, they're trying to put a sword behind you. They always betray their treaties.
Yo, just like that scene in Game of Thrones. I told you should never trusted me.
That's basically, how
The
it
scriptures give you warning, man. To set him not by thee, lest he seek to take thy place.
I gotta read this again. This is Isaiah 55:10. For as the rain cometh down and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but water the earth and make it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower and the bread to the water. I mean, it's like it to the eater, the bread to the eater. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. So no matter what this devil do, it's not going to go in his favor. There's nothing you can do against the truth but for the truth. And it's as simple as that. The deceiver and the deceiver are YAHAWASHI. There's nothing you can do to stop this from going forward. The prophecy must be fulfilled according to the book of Matthew. YAHAWASHI mentioned that. He mentioned it best. You know?
See what it says? It says, "A fire shall go forth from his wrath." This is 2 Ezra chapter 16, verse 9. It says, "A fire shall go forth from his wrath. Who is he that may quench it? He shall cast lightning. Who shall not fear? He shall thunder. Who shall not be afraid? Yahweh shall threaten. Who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? The earth quaketh and the foundation thereof. The sea arises up with waves from the deep. The waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also. Behold, it's like before Yahweh and before his glory before the glory of his power. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that shooteth are sharp and shall not miss. When they begin to be shot into the ends of the world, behold, the plagues are set and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. That's right. You know, because that's why the scriptures talk about he that letteth will let, and when the Lord lets it, you know, it's not going to return back into the void. It shall not return again. When the Lord speaks, when the Lord lets it out, basically, lets it go forth, it's not going to return back onto without it accomplishing its task. You know, that's why a lot of these Amalekites that call themselves Israelites, or they call themselves Israelis, trying to take our identity, they try to say that YAHAWASHI, or their Messiah, I'm going to say it like that, not YAHAWASHI. They're trying to say that the Messiah didn't complete his task, and that he's going to come back again to do it again, which is incorrect, because who's the one who sent YAHAWASHI? It was the Heavenly Father himself. And it's just, and his word does not come back from void. His word does not come back without it accomplishing its task. You know? And YAHAWASHI, he received the word from the Most High. And YAHAWASHI said it, that it is done. You know? He accomplished his task. And that's why YAHAWASHI prayed to glorify me also. And the Heavenly Father, he said he's going to glorify him and continue to glorify him. You know? Because it's through YAHAWASHI that the Heavenly Father is ultimately going to be glorified. You can read that in 1 Corinthians. I believe it was 1 Corinthians. It might be 2 Corinthians. One of the two. You know, I think it's like the 15th chapter. Might be the 11th chapter. You know, one of the two. We're talking about when the Most High put everything under Yahawah's feet. Alright? That when everything is put under Yahawah's feet, then he himself, referring to Yahawah, shall be under the Heavenly Father, that the Heavenly Father may be all in all. Which means what? He's using Yahawah to put everything in order. And when everything is set in order, Yahawah is going to order itself. Because Yahawah, he's going to be under the Heavenly Father. That Yahawah may be all in everything. Order in everything, man. You know, if what I said was understandable. You know?
So he's going to rule with the rod of iron.
He's going to rule with the rod of iron.
Yahawah is going to rule hard on his kingdoms, man.
And we're going to be, I don't want to represent that we're part of the elect, that we're going to be joint heirs with Yahawah ruling these nations with iron, with the rod of iron. And what is the rod of iron? What does that represent? It means a strict rule. You know, a strict rule, man. Now, of course, these nations are going to be happy, man, because that rulership, the rulership in the kingdom, it's not going to be by oppression. You know, it's not going to be by oppression. It's going to be
righteousness.
It's going to be in righteousness. You know, it's not going to be wicked oppression.
Imagine a city just ruled with righteousness.
Yeah, it's going to be for the benefit as well.
It's going to be clean too.
The whole earth is going to be happy.
It's going to be super clean.
Yo, that'll be a sight to behold.
Yeah,
The entire world ruled by righteousness.
You're not going
No
to
wickedness.
that continuous city, because we can see the continuous city here. It's polluted. It'll destroy you from just living here.
Just looking at it is already polluted. Because have you ever heard of that term eye candy? What's eye candy about this? This is nothing. It looks like everything is built by dung, man.
The only eye candy is that for your flesh, to satisfy your flesh, and knowing that the flesh is enmity to the Heavenly Father, that is against the Spirit. You know that eye candy is weakness. You know, that's why Moses chose to suffer with the affliction with his people, rather than to enjoy pleasure of sin for a season. You know, because of course there's a lot of eye candy. Of course, there's a lot of eye candy now.
All it is just a glazed rotten donut, pretty much.
Right?
You know, because everything is defiled anyway.
That reminds me of a video I saw of meat that was left out for 30 days, and the person cooked it. On the outside, it looked really good, but when he cut it open, it looked nasty.
I just learned something also that I think was late last week or this week. I keep forgetting to mention it. That he's taking the fruits and he's coating it with roach and other insects shell, convert it into wax to coat the fruits around it.
Oh, hell no, bro.
Yeah, so now you take the fruit, you gotta wash it. You know?
He's so fucking annoying, man. He's annoying. You know, he's literally a parasite.
And
man.
it's always the same. Always the what is that? What do they always say? Something about expired. They extend their expired days and stuff like that.
The expired dates on the product.
Yeah, something like that. They always say that.
That one needs to go, man.
Keep it from expiring.
You know what's amazing also? When these missiles start coming down, all these missiles going to be used. And you know what? Even the ones inside the Babylon silo that never got launched, you know why they never got launched? Because that missile was meant to hit the target in that same land. Either some of them will shoot up and still go back over here.
They won't even fucking thrust it. Just stay there, just explode.
Damn.
So yeah, they're going to be missiles that are going to be used because that target was still going to be Babylon. It's meant to be blown up in there.
Imagine
some missiles in the silo, some missiles in the silo gonna stay in the silo and they're just gonna spontaneously explode.
They had a name for it, like if they exploded, never got used. But I forgot what it was.
Imagine how heavy it will be to actually be in the chariot
I think I know what
and see the nukes fly across.
I think I know where it's
No. I think it was a military name. Bad bullet or something. It was bad.
It wouldn't be dud. It wouldn't be dud. It wouldn't explode.
No, there was a word for it. I forgot the word for it too.
Yeah, you remember. Yeah, this missile they
What?
call it by a code name. They never used it, and they exploded because the enemy hit it. And they called that.
Dormant?
It's something with failure, right?
Was it dormant?
No. It's a military term anyways. So who cares? Those missiles still accomplished where they need to go. Even though it didn't go nowhere. It hit its target anyways. You know, because all these other missiles are gonna be flying over here. The ones that got launched, there's gonna be a few launching from here. It's gonna hit where they intended target. But a lot of these missiles, they're gonna fail. Especially these AAs that they have. It's gonna be a huge fail. The AAs is known as a failure. And they still trying to perfect it. It's never, because you can't, it's hard to hit something that's supersonic.
You can see and they're gonna be guided by these angels.
Yeah.
They have the spirit of YAHAWASHI upon those missiles. So literally none of these bullets are gonna take it down. None of these icy hands.
Even the Russian AAs, they have upgraded their ICBM missiles. They've been ahead of it. But one thing they failed to is to upgrade their AAs. You know, they haven't put so much attention to it, which also proves that there's some missile story. It's going to hit their side too, but it's not going to hit a whole bunch.
Yo,
That's why the fallout scenes of nuclear and Metro. If you remember that scene about the plane one, she has a flashback of Russian plane. You know, they lost power, and once they got, because they were above the clouds, and once they got under the clouds, they saw all the destruction, fire, and everything, and you can hear the pilot freaking out, saying, "No, I don't want to die like this, no," and then it cuts off there.
You know what? I don't think it's called AA. I think it's called missile interceptor. That's called ICBM. They have a different name. AA, I think it's supposed to be.
They got Iron Dome. They got this Iron Dome. I don't know what they call the individual turrets and stuff like that, but they gave an Iron Dome to the amplified system to land. You know, basically, it's a missile that intercepts it just basically counters the other missile by colliding into it and exploding in midair. So basically, Esau's going to try to do that, and just as what it says in Joel, that none of them shall break their ranks, which means you know, we can get that real quick.
This devil, you can tell this devil loves war. He just loves war. And that's also going to be his demise.
He's got to take beef for the earth. He's blessed with the sword, so he wants to use it.
You see what happened in Maui? This Sleepy Joe, they asked him about Maui, he'd been ignoring it. And then in the end he said, "Oh, I'm just going to send $700 per household in Maui to know that there are more than 390 thousand homes in there." And how you add up? How you add that up? You know, per household. You know. Meanwhile, he sent $5 billion to Ukraine still to further the war, to support Ukraine. It just shows how much this devil, and weapons, selling them weapons they can buy, and they're making money off this war. This devil loves war, but one thing that's not profitable to this devil is when you bring the war to his home. It's not profitable because how are you going to make money if there's war in your own turf? It's hard to make money that way. But that's why that's going to be his downfall. You know.
There it is. Joel chapter 2. Start at 1. Oh. Yo, YAHAWASHI, this is your brother. Yeah, make sure that doesn't fall.
Yo,
So this is Joel chapter 2, verse 1, huh?
a do-log pass and saying something weirdos.
That is weird, bro.
Man, I won't.
We're the strangers. We got the mystery in the heaven, man.
I won't be surprised if across the river there might be another wildfire. It shows all around the world. There's wildfires non-stop. and not too long ago, Amazon just published. Amazon just, it's not Amazon, but there's a book already got published about what happened in Maui, and this shit is already currently happening in Maui. It shows how this devil operates, man. And then it's that same book is talking about because of climate change. You know this devil had that in the agenda. It's like saying a newspaper comes out about that somebody got shot across the street. But little do they know that 2 hours ago there was a book already written about somebody getting shot across the street. How does that make sense? You know how this devil operates, man.
This is Joel chapter 2, verse 1. It says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahawah cometh. YAHAWASHI cometh, for it is nigh at hand. A day of darkness and gloominess. A day of spread upon the mountains, and a great people and a strong. There had not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. A fire devoured them. It's like a fire devoured before them, and behold them a flame burneth. A land is as the garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. That's like, yeah. Let me get straight to the point. No, I'm gonna continue. It says that devouring fire is before them, and behold a flame burning, and the land is as the garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. What does that mean? You seen those Terminators? How the missiles were? You got missiles hitting behind the other missiles that's heading to a further designated target, but behind the missile is other missiles hitting the ground and exploding and burning everything upon its path. That's why it says the one in front of it is okay. The places in front of those missiles are okay because they have not been burned yet. The missile has not hit that place yet. But behind them are the other missiles hitting the ground and burning everything along its path. So that's why.
Like a wall of fire.
Yeah. So that's why it says here, a fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the garden of Eden before them. So like in front of them.
It was fine.
The land is as the garden of Eden before them, which basically means in front of them, like they're beholding it. The land it's like the land garden of Eden. So it's all good, right? And this is in behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, nothing shall escape them. It's basically how they you know how for example, like carpet bombing.
Yeah.
There's a word for carpet bombing. And carpet bombing, it basically what they do. This is a term that they used in World War II when they had a plane, right? And they dropped a shit ton of bombs behind the plane. You just see a shit ton of bombs just being rolled out.
It's like similar to like combing the whole perimeter.
Yeah.
You know.
And they carpet bombed the whole area, right? So before those bombs hit, it was okay. But when they hit, they laid waste. So it's the same thing with the ICBMs. That's why it says the land was like a garden of Eden before them, but behind them a desolate wilderness.
It's going to be a sweeping destruction.
Yeah.
I remember Apostle Gabar mentioned a visa. You know.
That's why I use.
It's in the scripture also. Yeah.
That's why I use Terminator Genesis as an example. Remember how in Terminator Genesis, how it was showing the bombs hitting the ground, and in some areas it was still okay until the bombs hit over there as well. You know, you see flashes in the distance at first, but around you it's still okay until the bomb hit there as well. And I laid waste to that area as well. It says the appearance. The appearance of them is the appearance of horses, and the horses represent power. All right, and as horsemen, so shall they run, And the horseman also represents that they're basically being controlled. You know? I could be wrong on that, but it says so. It says Well, yeah. I'm gonna continue. It says like the noise of chariots on the top of the mountains, they shall leap. Look at the noise of chariots on the top of the mountains, they shall leap. You know, and what does that mean? It's just like what I mentioned earlier. When you see flashes in the background, right? And you feel the ground shake. The explosion caused the ground to tremble, and vibrate.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the noise. The noise doesn't always have to mean with sound. Noise can also when you put noise onto a solid object, it'll cause it to vibrate. You know. So the noise at the top of a mountain, for example, Game of Thrones. Remember Game of Thrones? The what would they call damn it, what was it called? The Lannisters. They were trying to gather up the dragon slaying.
You hear a rumble of like a rumble, like something upcoming.
Hold on,
I'll get to that. It's spoiling it
already. Let me say. So basically, the Lannisters, they were gathering the dragon slaying things like dragon fire materials and ballistas to take down dragons and stuff like that, right? This is a spoiler, right? If any brothers want to watch Game of Thrones or whatever. And basically, Daenerys and her armies were coming over to basically wipe them all out, but the Lannisters didn't know that Daenerys was coming over there with her armies. But everybody went silent because they felt the ground vibrating. Like it's a very strong base in the ground, and the ground was vibrating. You know? And basically that's the representation what I'm talking about here in this chapter. It says, like the noise of chariots on the top of mountains, they shall leap. It says, like the noise of a flame of fire, they shall devour the stubble. As a strong people set in battle array. And I also want to point out that how the missiles, when the missiles hit, there's other missiles going to other designated targets, so they're basically not being hit from the explosion. So they're still going to the other places. It's kind of like when an army. You see when I'm gonna use fucking Game of Thrones again, because Game of Thrones is a good example when it comes to armies. They put everything raw in that shit. They put everything raw. So when they're running out in the army, they go like and then they cut you know it's focusing on the main character, right? But you see the characters around that main character colliding with other soldiers of the opposite army, and they're stopping and fighting, right? But the one in the main character is still focusing. He's still going further in the midst of that army. You know, the reason I'm using that as an example is basically what we're talking about here. We're talking about as strong people set in battle array. You know, continuing, it says before their faces. Before their face, the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness. Dang. You know, remember how the scripture's talking about the war before was confused noise. You know, somebody want to get that real quick? Confused noise? You still hold up.
But there's also another movie like Braveheart. That's a whole movie like 95 around there. Mel Gibson. There was a scene there that everybody was fighting, the whole army fighting. They collided, fighting. It's nothing but confused noise. They collided.
Yeah, it shows it. And all that shit. Game of Thrones. It caused on Jon Snow to be delirious. It caused him to be like you know.
Yeah,
he's kind of discombobulated. He was kind of like
it's
looking around. You see,
it's hard in those kind of battles. It's hard to keep a notice around your surroundings.
What was that movie called? Something about Private Ryan?
Saving Private Ryan. That's another one.
He was confused. the explosions and everything caused confusing noise, death around him, screaming. You got fucking explosions and everything. He was discombobulated. He was delirious.
You got delirious soldiers
going
that they didn't know because of all that going on.
That dude picked up his arm.
He picked up his arm. He looked at his arm and he just kept walking. You know,
he was delirious.
It was too much.
And the main character was discombobulated from all the explosions and the loud noises. He was just like looking around, like, and it was causing his eyes go. You know, because there's so much going on. You know, and he was like looking around.
Right, imagine like World War III. Everybody would be like World War III.
Yeah. Who got that scripture?
This is Isaiah chapter 9, verse 5. This is for every battle of a warrior is with confused noise and garment of broken blood. But this shall be the burning and the fuel of fire.
Yeah. You know, and this one shall be a burning and a fuel of fire. You know? And that fuel of fire is the way of the ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles. Right?
Shalom, YAHAWASHI, Shalom, Barakatah.
Shalom, bro. YAHAWASHI, Shalom, Barakatah.
Shalom, Akim.
Continuing, it says, they shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. And the wall is representing the defense. That's what a wall is meant there to be. That's why it,
protection.
That's right.
You know.
And you read Zechariah, it says Jerusalem shall be a city without walls. Because walls were why do you have walls? Just in case of war. When men of war, they want to get over the walls.
They want to hide themselves, but also be in the defense.
That's right.
You know, they want to, and it also protects the what they like to deem as innocent citizens and whatever. You know, women and children and all that. You know, but these missiles is going to catch all of you.
That's right.
And old people are not an exception. And babies are not an exception.
Young children to old elderly.
I got the piece of that. I got the
Oh, you got a reason? You have it ready?
Oh, let me finish this verse and then you read it. It says, they shall run like mighty men and shall climb the wall like men of war. They shall march everyone on his ways. Why does it say they shall march everyone to his ways? Because each one of the ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, has a designated target where it's going to fall and explode at. All right, because these missiles, it doesn't have one warhead in it. It has multiple warheads, and they're designed to carpet bomb areas. You know, they're designed to carpet bomb areas. All right, so every one of them, it says they shall march everyone to their ways, and they shall not break their ranks. So you're gonna see them flying off like this, like I have like fucking figures as an example, you know, going like that, going like arcing across the sky. And you're going to see them just like Terminator Genesis. When you see the Jake kid looking out the window, you see missiles go. And you see another one.
Oh, in the plane, yeah.
And they're like going right next to each other, but they're not colliding with each other.
No, I got the point. Hold up.
They're not colliding with each other.
The Metro thing, I just watched the video of it. It's literally like
Terminator
that.
Genesis is
when
still,
it came under the
still
clouds,
one of my
you see
favorite,
like I think it was like 4 or 3 missiles going up together. You know.
Yeah, that's a good representation of the ranks. Of the ranks. You know?
And the targets these missiles have, you know, like you said, it has an intended specific target.
Yep.
But they have
a designated target.
It's like saying they have one for example, for this one car, they have one for a bus, they have one for this person. But they have a huge one that's in case it missed everything. So it has a huge, and that's like the SAR bomber. The SAR bomber was designed to hit its target, even if it doesn't have a target.
No, that's why
it'll cover everything.
That's why they have multiple warheads in one missile. You know, the missiles nowadays, they can't even test the damn things. That's why they're so eager to use it.
Just to see how it works.
They can test the speed, but they can't explode it. You know, because who's the one slacking? Who's the one controlling? Who's the one controlling, letting these things happen? It's YAHAWASHI. You know, and that's what the scriptures say in prophecy. Heard not the trees nor the sea until the said measures is fulfilled. Roughly paraphrasing. Until the marks of them are set in their foreheads, referring to the 144,000. the elect, right? Yeah.
Okay.
That's set the brightness.
Hopefully it won't be blurry and
You
dim.
get the brightness on?
Yeah.
Oh, look like it.
All the way up?
Holy shit. Camera is hit.
They're burning alive while they're falling too. It's like
Yeah,
shit.
I said the brother right here, getting hit by shrapnels and burning alive at the same time. That gave me goosebumps when I first saw that.
Missiles hit, everything is going to become a weapon. Like the glass on the building, they're going to shatter.
Paper too. Paper will be going so fast it will start like slicing people.
Concrete floor will vaporize. They have a demonstration about concrete vaporize exploding.
Yo, so
because some countries still contain water vapor and it's trapped.
That's true. You know, people talk about the burning of the ICBMs, but they don't talk about the debris that shall be thrown at a high velocity.
Right.
Yeah, and for the example that I was trying to make,
That's intense.
Some people might die.
if the brother saw it on video of those, see the nuclears, you see it hitting the city. At the same time, you can also see other nuclears going up. At the same time, I was just using those as the nuclears.
Can't forget, you see, like Terminator Genesis, when the missile hit, it started not just only throwing, it not just throwing debris, but it started throwing the cars too.
Like nothing.
And
like,
not just
like
that, the people will be thrown too. People are going to be thrown.
They'll be smashed against buildings and everything.
You know, the people who didn't get burned alive right away, they're going to be hit with that forceful, violent wind, that destroying wind that the scripture's talking about.
Because it's so hot. These ICBM, with the force of the wind, you know, that wall of fire, it's going to be so hot also that there's steels. You know when steel gets hot, steel will glow. They'll glow red to white. You know, the red, yellow, white. They'll glow. But these ICBM missiles, when they hit, it's going to be so hot. The steel won't have time to glow. It's just going to melt. I saw that through a documentary. It's an old documentary I saw like a while back. It's called the Final Chapter. That's the name of the documentary. Final Chapter with that question mark in the end. You know, and it shows when it hit, it melted like butter. It melted like nothing. It was bubbling and it melted at the same time. You know, and it's estimated to be one little blast, a concentrated blast of these missiles. It's hotter than the sun itself. By measurement. So YAHAWASHI, it shows that YAHAWASHI gave these Temanites the brain to build this, so they can destroy themselves pretty much and destroy all the wickedness with them. You know.
Continue with this. Yeah, I'm gonna continue with this. It says,
right. The scripture I got. Display utterly.
Let him bring that out.
This is Ezekiel chapter 9. I'm going to start with 4. Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 4. It says, the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, to the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. It says, and to the others he said in my hearing, go ye after him to the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. To slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children.
You remember how the scripture talks about in Isaiah? Let me see if we can get that real quick. You know, just to land back with the brother. Isaiah. It's right here. Yeah, it is right. This is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 17. It says, "Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, and they will not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eye shall not spare children." That's right. And how is that? Because when the Medes is referring to over there in Russia, right? It's referring over there in Russia, and Russia's going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if Russia's the first one to launch those missiles. And after that happens, everything's just going to go. You know, everything's just going to, because they're going to know that it's been launched and stuff like that.
They have to react to it.
And they got to react to it. And these chariots, these chariots these chariots referring to the angels, because the angels reside within those chariots. The chariots referring to the vehicles. All right, these so-called UFOs. They're gonna guide those. They're gonna guide those ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, and nothing's gonna take them down. And they're gonna accomplish to where they have been sent. All right, not ESO's Iron Dome is not gonna work. No, nothing, man. And when this place gets hit, everything's gonna die. Everything's gonna die from the young to the oldest. The only ones going to be delivered up are the elect. You know, the 144,000 and the 1/3 of the nation of Israel. All right.
I don't know what's going on. I don't watch a video. There's a video I saw. I forgot I don't know which brother was it, but one of them was that his son had a dream, but he couldn't explain it. So the brother, he told his son, if you can't explain it, just draw it. Just draw it because he likes to draw. Oh, hey, we're not coming.
I think it was an album like Allah. I think so. It was probably one of the brothers from Britain. Okay. I remember something. I remember this. I remember him having an accent.
But when he came back from work, his son already had the picture ready. And then when he saw the picture, it showed the chariots zapping the city while the missiles is coming closer. And then it shows the background explosion. Dead people on the streets. Dead people on the streets. While the chariots are zapping, and while the missiles in the distance, one of them exploring in the distance shows a nuke, a Marshall plan.
That's what I said.
Right? And meanwhile, there were people.
He was at the Garden of Eden before them, but behind them was a desolate wilderness.
Right, and it shows people running toward the waters, and there was a huge creature on the waters overtaking them and breaking the buildings and
no escape.
You get a prophetic dream, man.
No escape. They can't go ahead to the heavens because there's chariots up there. They can't be in the ground because of nukes. They can't go in the water because of the
They can't be in the ground because who's the one going to take them out of it? The angels. You can't get away from this.
There's no escape.
In the area, because Babylon and the main capitals and areas of these heathens, they're going to be hit by ICBMs. The majority of the ICBMs are going to hit here in America, right? But there's going to be other countries that are not going to be hit by the ICBMs, but they're going to be destroyed by the chariots. The chariots are going to go abroad, and they're just going to break them. You don't even need an entire army of chariots to take it on to destroy a city. You just need one.
These chariots, they're going to cover the whole earth.
Yeah, man. These angels, they're gonna slay utterly. You know, and I'm sure that these angels, that one angel can control many of these chariots. I wouldn't be surprised. You know,
these weapons that Esau have, it's just Legos. That's all it is. It's just Legos. It's nothing.
And those nuclears isn't even theirs.
Yeah, that nuke. Yeah, exactly.
That's why we're saying Legos. We're not gonna count the nuclear.
Yo, you know how it reminds me? It reminds me how an author makes a character just so the protagonist can just show his might.
like a lot of these movies that Esau have about the hero triumph and all that. You know that the rest of the heathens, these nations, they have movies of their own. A lot of times, a lot of their heroes always die. Especially Issachar's movies. All their heroes always dies, and they always become like something to remember, somebody to remember.
And I like how the brother right here said it way back about what do you think nothing else progresses, the technology. Only the IPC and the missiles are advancing, that's about it.
So only the weaponry of these stuff.
And the only thing that is advancing out of technology, digital technology, is the convenience. But at the end of the day, that's for us, like the internet. The internet was actually made for us. You know, it may look like it's for them, but notice that in the end of the day, because for them, they just living in vain.
They regret it.
Destruction. That internet was only created for us, you know, so YAHAWASHI through us could push the word out to the four corners of the earth.
That's how you know it's meant for us, because now they're regretting it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now Esau even don't have control of that, because whatever gets out, gets out. The only way he can make that stop is pull the plug. You know?
Or his manipulation. That's fair.
Continue with this. Joel, verse 8, it says, neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path. And when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. What does that mean by fall upon the sword? When one of their defense systems actually hit one of their targets, referring to the ICBMs. All right. When one of their SAT missiles, I believe that's what they call it. I forgot what it stands for.
The one, the Russian.
No, they got SAT missiles, SAT, or you could just call it anti-aircraft, AA. All right. And when that hits one of their targets, it's not gonna be wounded. It's not gonna be hurt. You know, it's not gonna be hurt. It's not gonna be destroyed. You've seen a lot of your brothers. I'm not sure if a lot of your brothers seen it, but there was a video with the chariot being shot by a Sidewinder missile, and it wasn't even affected, man. You know, it was not moved out of place from nothing. And it's the same thing with these. When the ICBM gets hit, you're gonna see the smoke, and then you can see the missile go right through the smoke, and it's still going. You know? Anti-satellite multi-stage missile. I don't think it's this one. That's an ASAT. It's just called SAT missile. I didn't even think that it stands for anti-satellite. Oh yeah, this is just called AA. What? Can you search what?
It's anti.
Can you search what?
This one.
Iron Dome. What turn? Like what does Iron Dome use as a weapon? Iron Dome missile.
System designed to counter short-range rockets and 155 millimeter artillery shells with a range of up to 70 kilometers, 43
So this was for mortars and short range. So what can you search? How is an ICBM countered? Search that.
How is an ICBM?
Oh, anti-ballistic missile. ABM.
That's what it's called. ABM, anti-ballistic missile.
what system do they use for that? It says anti-ballistic missile (ABM) is a surface-to-air missile designed to counter ballistic missiles. It says ballistic missiles are used to deliver nuclear, chemical, biological, and conventional warheads in ballistic flight trajectory. The anti-ballistic missiles generally return to conveying a system designed to intercept and destroy any ballistic threat. However, it is commonly used for systems specifically designed to counter intercontinental ballistic missiles (ICBMs). Holy
This is the only way. The only question you gotta ask is.
Oh, wait, I just saw it. Go back. I just saw it right here. Scroll down a little bit. Right here. No, A135 ABM system. This is a Russian. This is a Russian one.
Hold on. That's Medusa species. Showing that it's the Roman stuff.
Yeah. They got an entire missile system, anti-ballistic missile system.
I wanted to add this right here. You know, base.
I just saw something anti-ABM. I just saw ABM a success rate. What is the success rate?
Yeah. GMD. They also call it GMD.
I'm assuming that's the US. That's probably the US.
55% of the time was effective. 55%, only half. In order to reach the confidence level of at least 90%.
At least 3 interceptors would need to be fired at the warhead. So if there's multiple being shot at one time, because usually there's only one ICBM shot at a time usually, right? But when there's multiple ICBMs shot at one time, they won't be able to stop that. When they try to hit one, it ain't going to affect it because it's going to be defended by the chariots.
I also heard that the computer system it will be overwhelmed. Like which one?
Trying to lock on.
Yeah, trying to lock on some of them. It's too many of them.
Because there's many heat sources.
So all of them is going to.
It is many heat sources.
Hey, this is the question: can the U.S. stop ballistic missiles? Increased probability of an intercept. The United States had to shoot multiple interceptors at each incoming ballistic missile. At present, because its inventory of interceptors is limited.
Look at that, bro.
Damn. The United States can shoot down
only a handful. Yo, of ballistic missiles that have relatively unsophisticated countermeasures.
It's over, man. Babylon, it's over for you.
Shit, man.
It's over. It's over. Especially in these anti-ballistic missile system. It's not even upgraded to counter a supersonic missile that's coming from Russia.
That's
because they don't have
that's
that.
why they're so confident. And it's a supersonic missile. That's a supersonic missile, man.
Talking about confidence and stuff like that. If you notice, a lot of people's talking down on Russia just because they're quote losing the war in Iran.
That's quote. Yeah.
Hey,
People.
Ukraine.
They're even coming to the point saying they're not.
Ukraine, better.
They're even coming to. Yeah, I'm at that. They're even coming to the point where they're saying Russia's not the second strongest or third strongest or anything like that.
That's both speaking in
the pride of America, the pride of Babylon.
They got alternative news talking about that Ukraine's not doing so good, and they have more proof to show it on their media compared to the mainstream media. Mainstream media, they like to freaking many Esau pretty much because he controls this, and especially through Amalek, pretty much. You know, they trying to control the narrative because not to scare the population.
Not only that,
you know?
they're not considering the sheer nuclear power they have.
It's gonna be over, man. It's gonna be over.
Sounds like that one guy on that show, why he said why America won't fall.
Say all that. We got the military, we got the Navy, we got the Air Force, we got this, we got that, we got the best weapon, this, that. That's a lot of pride. That's a lot of pride.
He looked straight at me and he was like, da, 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 da.
You know, it sounds also what happened I had to go back to Maui. That one person that was talking on TV, like, oh, see, brother, well, we're gonna build it. We're gonna build this city back better. That's pride. That's pride. You know, it doesn't matter who says it. It's pride, because at the end of the day, it's what YAHAWASHI said. That's it. You know.
So I'm gonna continue with this. It says they shall run to and fro in the city, and they shall run upon the wall, and they shall climb upon the houses, and they shall enter in at the windows like a thief. What does that mean? It says they shall run to and fro in the cities because they're going to be flying above your head. You know, they're going to be flying above your head. Some trying to reach targets further away. You know, and you know, America's going to try to shoot missiles over there at Russia, and it's going to hit. Some of those missiles are going to hit over there in Russia, over there in China, and whatever other designated targets. But the majority of all the missiles are going to hit over here in America, man. You see it in Terminator. You got the missiles going like this, you know, flying amongst each other. They shall not thrust one another. And it says they shall run upon the wall. That means where the places where the interceptors are going to be and everything like that. Targets are going to be hit there, because that's what majority of these countries are aiming for, are specific vital points in America. Where, you know, whether it be their military bases, their weaponry, you know, a lot of these interceptors are going to be hit there too, you know. And they only got a handful. That's still like that. They only got a handful. They're only limited.
That's something really good for you.
They got a lot of missiles to try to shoot down.
You better enjoy that handful. You know.
Continuing, it says.
They won't even hit the handful.
Yeah, right.
Medium.
It says, and it says they shall enter in the windows like a thief. What does that mean? Is that where you're at home at? Where you're at home at? A lot of these people aren't even going to be looking. Basically, they're so confident. You see that man? That man who's so confident in America's strength. He's like, oh, no, we're fine and everything like that. You know, it's gonna. Oh my God. He's gonna enter into the houses like a thief. This is YAHAWASHI when he comes back. He's gonna be as a thief in the night. You know. So continuing, it says the earth shall quake before them, and the heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark. And why is that? You know, because when these ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, when they explode, they leave off a very giant cloud of smoke that will cover the atmosphere, covering the sun and the moon. You know.
What happened in 9/11 when the buildings went down?
Yeah.
The buildings went down. Everything was darkened.
You want to get that scripture we're talking about? That the earth shall move to and fro like a drunkard. You know. Let's get that.
Because they didn't say it.
Move to and fro like a drunkard. You don't have to get it because you still got a scripture. Still,
I'm holding it in the book. I can get it. Okay, I think I got it.
Read it. You got it. Read it. Is it? You need permission, bro. Look at it.
Oh, that is. I didn't hear it.
Make sure you're sure, like, what to actually bring up. See,
Is this the only one?
Yeah, there's only one other.
Alright, then this is the one.
which one you got?
You can read, he got Isaiah 24 and 19 and 20.
Just bring it.
This is Isaiah 24, verse 19. The earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean, dissolved. The earth is clean, dissolved. It's like the earth is moved exceedingly. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard.
Shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, man.
And shall be removed like a cottage. And the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it. And it shall fall and not rise again.
That's referring to the iniquity. The ultimately over here in Babylon the Great, you know, it's going to be taken down and it shall never rise again. That's why Esau knows this. Esau knows this. He tries to make tries to leave tokens as a remembrance to his kingdom, you know, in places. But all of that's going to be wiped. All of that's going to be wiped, man. So it says, the earth shall quake before them, and the heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall not withdraw their shining. And Yahawah shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. For he is strong that executeth his word. For the day of Yahawah is great and very terrible. Who can abide it? Who can abide? Who can abide the day of YAHAWASHI YAHAWASHI? You know? Who can abide it? Who can withstand it? You know, none can. You know? So BAHASHAM, can you get? You got 2 Peter. Get 2 Peter. No, you got it. You get 2 Peter. What?
You got 2 Peter's chapter 3 verse 10.
Yeah, you read it.
2 Peter chapter 3 verse 10. It says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, and the heavens shall pass away with great noise. The elements shall
The
melt.
brothers in the ancient days, they prophesied the same things, and we're prophesying again the same things. You know, because the prophecies that the brothers were mentioning in the ancient times were prophecies that were going to happen in this present time that we're living in now. It wasn't going to happen in the time that they were in at that time. You know, they were prophesying of the times that were going to happen now, because they understood that the prophecies which they were speaking before then, they shall the word of YAHAWASHI YAHAWASHI shall be kept with them, and in this time they shall be warning the same thing. You know, and this is the day. This is the day that YAHAWASHI YAHAWASHI is coming to. This is that great and gloomy day of YAHAWASHI YAHAWASHI. You know, we're about to experience it. We're about to live through it. And if you don't have YAHAWASHI YAHAWASHI with you in that day, you're just absolutely screwed. You know, all you people are going to be in pains and anguish of spirit, and repenting within yourself, having a chance that you have now, and refusing it. You know, you're refusing this, man, because people take this wisdom that we got for granted. They think that this wisdom that we got is foolishness. Just as the men of old. You guys don't put that in your mind. That the people in the ancient times when Yahawah's around, what you ignorantly call Jesus, when they're around, him and his disciples, they saw him as foolish and stupid.
Yo.
And now that the prophets are back here again, the prophesied the same things. You're saying the same damn things. You know? Because there's nothing new under the sun.
Yo, in the end times, it's like in the end times, they're gonna feel that anguish and they're gonna feel like an idiot. They're gonna feel like an idiot. They're gonna feel very dumb.
And that's why that grief is gonna that guilt is gonna take on them. You know, some of the 2/3 in the kingdom, you know, they're gonna have that guilt. Like the truth was right there. I could have listened to the word if I wasn't so stupid. You know, I could be up there with YAHAWASHI. You know,
This reminded me
they're
of
still gonna be happy.
that's right. This reminded me of the end of the Terminator 1 movie. When the kid said, "Mira, allá viene una tormenta." And then Sarah Connor's like, "What did he say?" And then the guy said, "It's said there's a storm coming, you know? And she's like she knows, right? Well, basically, we telling you there's a storm coming, and you don't want to heed to this word. You don't want to turn back, you know?
It's funny how Trump said that. Trump is an honest devil. He said it's always calm before the storm. Now he said it. He said it. The fucking president said it himself.
He said it's so much pride. He said.
No? Yeah, he says it with so much pride. He's an honest devil. But he knows because he's up there in the higher ups. But he just doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut. And since they can't get rid of him because it'll cause an uproar, they just let him be. And hopefully he just shuts up.
You see what happened? Again, I had to bring it up. You see what happened in Maui, right? And a lot of these Babylonians, now they want to vote for Trump, right? You forget what Trump did to the Ephraimite and the island, Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
you know,
over there, it's a cartoon.
He didn't give a shit.
It's a cartoon, putting up that border and shit like that. And the ones that they caught and everything, they dealt treacherously.
Yeah,
very treacherous.
These nations don't realize it's this devil. It's not just our enemy. These devils are enemy of the rest of the nations too. He's trying to take everything he can get his hands on.
He's as devil and cannot be satisfied. I'm a devil. He's as death and cannot be satisfied.
And yeah, so even though, okay, Oprah Winfrey owns a mansion, but you notice that how the media is put it, whether it be mainstream, whether it be alternate, they're only talking about Oprah. And because she's a Jake, they say, oh, it's not a racist matter because Oprah is involved. That's how this devil works. He's evil. And very little they talk about Bill Gates. Very little they talk about Jeff Bezos. Very little they talk about this, whatever, I don't know if it's a scientist, surgeon, whatever the hell he is. You know? They own properties over there in Maui. It never got touched. You know? And Oprah's house never got touched, but no, they wouldn't want to talk about most just Oprah. Because Oprah is a Jake, but they're just going to talk about Jake more than anybody else.
She's an evil ass woman, man.
She's
an evil fucking woman. You know? Holy shit.
You know, oh, I forgot, Clint Eastwood owned properties there too. Clint Eastwood, that came in mind, and Willie Nelson, another one. You know, so they could be Jakes among the elites, anyways.
Right.
You know, so that way people don't say, oh, it's not a racist thing. Don't worry about it. It's just they're rich, and the rich want to do what they want to do. But who's in control of the power of the technology based on this world, pretty much? You know, that would be Esau. It's always been Esau. Esau is the higher up. It's like a TV show of a whole gang, the good guys, right? But who always the leader of that gang? It's always some Edomite. You know, the center of all. There's always going to be an Edomite. Or when it's a huge group of a working crew, right? You're going to see a bunch of Edomites, and there's only that one Jake on that group, that's his best friend. I'm gonna have to say once. I'll give you one because they still push that shit anyways, like Stranger Things. You know?
Yeah,
You always want to have that one Jake, and everybody else is Edomites. You know, y'all don't see it. In order for Esau to cover his ass, he had to ask somebody there that is not an Edomite. So he can say, we're not racist, I got black friends. You know? That's how he works. That's how he rolls. This is a takeover. Esau always wants more. Always wants more. Always wants more. Always wants more. He's not going to stop.
But just as the scripture say, the Heavenly Father, He set the bounds of the sand of the sea. You know, Esau can't even go as far as he wants to go because the Lord set a bound.
That's why he has a limit. He's going to reach a limit. He was only created so he can serve a purpose. In the end.
Of the punishment of Israel.
That's it.
He's been used to punish us. You know, that's why we went into slavery. The genocide that Esau committed towards us, the atrocities and everything, all of that would, if you think of the spiritual eye, the spiritual mindset, we deserve that shit. But the things that Esau did, he did it with love and fun and everything. You know how the scriptures talk about, since thou hast not hated blood, blood shall pursue thee. And that's what's about to happen to Esau. And that's why when you think about it, that Esau is going to He's gonna go into captivity. He's gonna go into slavery. And some people, Jacob's always trying to find a way to save Esau. But if you found out what Esau did to our people, man, you're gonna be like, no, he fucking deserves everything that comes to him. The dude's fucking evil, man. He's evil.
That's why he's the devil. He's
Like, it's like, for example, if you had a child and you had a woman, right, and that you absolutely love that woman, right, and Esau kidnaps your woman. You're trying to find your woman. You find out where your woman is, right? And Esau, because Esau's leaving behind hints, because this is what Esau does, you know. And you find your woman, and you find her fucking upside down with the baby, hanging out of her stomach on the umbilical cord, you know, just dead, you know. If that happened to you, you will be furious, man.
And don't forget,
and furious and sadness. You will want the worst shit to happen to Esau.
And if he knows that you're powerless, you can't do anything, he'll boast you.
He'll boast about it. He'll boast about it and torture you about it.
And I think that, this devil has a history of doing that. Because not too long ago I found out that they've been doing that to the northern kingdom too.
Yeah.
You know? Cutting the
does
women's
that
stomach
shit.
and had the baby fall out.
He did that. Yeah, did that with the Gadites. Happened to Gadites. Happened to Reubenites. Happened to Issacharites. Happened to all the northern kingdom. Happened to all the southern kingdom. We were oppressed together, man.
And he had personal hanging places. One for Judah, and one for the Judah, Benjamin, Levi. You know, and for the southern kingdom, pretty much. And he have a tree for the northern kingdom. And they'll contend. How you say, they'll argue among each other like, why are you hanging in the street? That belongs to these people, and this belongs to that people.
Yeah,
you know, there was a video about that too.
Yeah.
You know, they have personal trees, and they send each other postcards. How was your vacation? Oh, I hang 10 darkies. You know, you gotta look at it in the spiritual sense also. That in the end of the day, when the elect says, I learned my lesson. I want to be with YAHAWASHI, to put it more simply. This devil's going to say, what about me? And you know what YAHAWASHI is probably going to tell him? I have no more use for you. That's his destruction. That's pretty much. Oh, wait a minute. I can do this. No. It's over.
He's gonna build up the kingdom, build things up by being our slaves. And after that, he's done. He's gone.
He's gone. Even though YAHAWASHI is not going to have use for this devil, so he's going to give it to us as an inheritance. You are an inheritance only for a limited time only, and then you're going to be disposable. You're the real expendable. Because when it's all over, the other nation it's going to continue.
Let's get to talk about it. It's going to continue employment.
That's all it is. And you know what? And Esau's going to have a continuous employment, right?
Every single day, except the Sabbaths and except the other high holy days. Every single day, except those days, for 1,000 years.
Well, you know what? It's going to be like, in more division, these nations are going to have a permanent service. And these Edomites are going to have a temporary service. Just like a temporary service agency, you only work for a season. Because 1,000 years is going to be a season. And then it's over for him.
It's like Esau likes to use contracts. Until that contract ends, then now you mean nothing.
And that contract's 1,000 years. It's going to be 1,000 years of hardcore. Once it's over, but I've been a good boy. But hey, you know what? We got to follow policy. You do the same thing to us. We got to follow policy too.
Esau,
1,000 years over, it's over.
Esau signed that contract when he brought us into slavery.
Yeah, at least we kept our policy. You couldn't even keep one treaty. You break them all.
Makes them and breaks them.
Shit.
Makes them and breaks them.
Hey, his too. You 2/3 better get your shit together too. I got Ezekiel chapter 22 verse 18. Son of man, the house of Israel is to me become dross. All they are brass and tin and iron and lead in the midst of the furnace. They are even the dross of silver. Therefore, thus said Yahweh, power, Yahweh BAHASHAM BAHASHAM, because ye are all become dross. Behold, therefore, I will gather you into the midst of Jerusalem. Remember, Jerusalem is a people before a place. As they gather silver and brass and iron and lead and tin into the midst of the furnace, to blow the fire upon it and melt it. So will I gather you in my anger and in my fury, and I will leave you there and melt you. And that's what's coming over here. It's going to be a lot of melting going on. You know, you're all going to be a bunch of Sarah Connors in the fence trying to cry for help. That's what you're going to be.
And just like that.
Minus a ponytail. Women going to have ponytails. That's going to burn off too. You know?
Like how you said Sarah Connor on the gate, and she was screaming out, and nobody can hear her. Same thing's going to happen to him. No one's going to come for your aid. No one shall save you. No man shall buy you, as the scriptures say.
Because everybody will be busy being burned too.
You know how the scriptures talk about that no man shall buy you. You know, in the kingdom, no man's going to buy him. Who's being by means saved. No one's going to redeem him.
Yo,
it's like
yo, there won't be any firefighters to put out that fire.
It will be too big. You have to let it burn. You have to let that burn all the way through. The fire is
right here.
huge.
You know, this is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2, verse verse 1. It says, "For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, was not aright. Our life is short and tedious, and in the death of men there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave." There you go. You know, there's no man likened unto YAHAWASHI among any of these other heathens. You know, no man to deliver any of these heathens, especially in these coming days. First of all, you know, YAHAWASHI is the only one who's going to be saving, and he's going to be saving the nation of Israel. You so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. You know, for you Ishmaelites, there is going to be no Prophet Muhammad that's going to save you. You know, he doesn't exist. You know, he doesn't exist the way you think he does.
I went to the Catholic Church and mentioned that, you know, you could have something to worship.
And
Muhammad, feel good.
Muhammad was more than likely an actual person, but he didn't have any duty that the Heavenly Father sent him out to do. You know, other than to deceive, because that's what his duty was to do. Clearly, since he was born, you know, was to deceive, and that deception carried on all the way until this time.
This is Psalms chapter 9, verse 15. The heathen are sunk down in the pit that they made. In the net which they hid, in the net which they hid is their own foot taken. Yeah, because the heathens are something else too, you know. They like to go against Israel. They like to go against Jake. They don't give a shit about you. Primarily Esau. You know. Yahweh is known by the judgment which he executed. The wicked is snared in their work of his own hands.
He's known by the
against
judgment he executes. That judgment shows who the Heavenly Father is with and whom he's not.
That's why he was known after the flood. He was known. Even though Noah had 3 sons, you know, it carried on with Shem is more like, but it carried on with Ham and with Japheth. You know, it carried on with their generations for a time being.
That's what you say. You shall not quit the wicked. You shall not quit the wicked.
Not at all.
Not at all.
You know, would you give him a chance? Not at all. No.
He said he's known by the judgment, and just like what it says in Psalms, that his prophets speak of judgment. You know, his prophets speak of judgment. What's the crowd? Yeah, I can feel the rain again.
And I still got more.
Psalms. Right here. Is how it says there that he's known by his judgment, the Heavenly Father. This is why he has the title Al-Ashadi, which means terrible like God, or demon like power, or demon like God. And demon like God is referring to the way he executes his judgment. It's brutal. It's brutal and terrible. You know?
And it's the same, you know, judgment that he carried on for Sodom and Gomorrah.
You can see,
and some of them are not even written, but it's well known they came from YAHAWASHI, like Pompey, and I'm sure there's other kingdoms that have fell that's not written. You know, all credits go to YAHAWASHI. All credits, primarily the Father, the King of all. You know, King of the universe. You know.
So let me read this. This is Psalms chapter 37, verse 28. It says, "For Yahweh loveth judgment and forsaketh not his saints. They are preserved forever, but the seed of the wicked shall be cut off. The righteous shall inherit the land and shall dwell therein forever. The mouth of the righteous speaketh wisdom, and his tongue talketh of judgment. The law of Yahweh is in his heart, none of his steps shall slide. The wicked watcheth the righteous and seeketh to slay him, and Yahweh will not leave him in his hand, nor condemn him when he is judged. Wait on Yahweh and keep his way, and he shall exalt thee to inherit the land. When the wicked are cut off, thou shalt see it."
It goes into this. It goes into that. You know, Psalms chapter 9, verse 17. "The wicked shall be turned into hell, and all the nations that forget
And what is
Yahweh."
that? What does that mean that wicked shall be turned into hell? That's not referring to a place where you burn forever and everything like that. It's referring to the state. You see, there's a scripture that's talking about because judgment is not executed speedily, therefore the hearts of men is set to do evil. Roughly paraphrasing. And there's also a scripture talking about that the prosperity of the wicked is only for a season.
It's only for a season.
Only for a season.
Yeah,
You know?
and this is why we'll be suffering is only temporal, which also coincides with their season. They only have a season, but our suffering is temporal. So
Our suffering is temporal, and our joy is everlasting.
and their dominion is only a season.
Their joy is temporal, but their suffering is everlasting.
So they have joy.
Man,
See, they have all that mirth. You know,
Which one's
and
better?
we're the one in the morning.
which was
You
better,
know?
man? Which was better?
The hustle.
Suffering for a season and having everlasting joy, or having joy for a season and having everlasting suffering? Which one's fucking better?
I know which
which
one
one?
I'm gonna choose.
Man, I know which one I'm gonna choose. What was it? I was gonna say something. That hell's representing the state that they're in. You know, because right now the wicked is in their heaven state, but they're slowly experiencing what it is to lose. You know, and now what they had on their grasp, it's slowly slipping out of their hand. You know, it's slowly slipping out of their hand.
You see a lot of jakes out there, whether it be bug out or part of the elect, or you know,
I like it.
you know, they're in a very low state. Some of them are like homeless, like they're pretty much in the dung. But the Most High, you know, the Most High is going to take the elect out of the dung, right, and put it upon princes, put them among the kings, up on a very high status. You know, this is more into it. This is Psalms chapter 9. I'll start 17 again. Psalms chapter 9 verse 17. The wicked shall be turned into hell, and all the nations that forget Yahawah, BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. For the needy should not always.
All the nations that forgot the Most High, because He's going to make Himself known.
It's gonna be they're gonna remember, and you know what? They're not gonna forget this time, because this is gonna be something.
Gonna forget this time, man.
Because it's gonna be something that has never actually happened. It's gonna be very glorious.
Let me get what Yahawashi said in His prayer.
You know,
in John 7. Well, I just jumped right to it. Can you believe that? John 17 and verse 15. It says, I pray not that thou shouldest take them out of the world, but that thou shouldest keep them from the evil. They are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth. As thou hast sent me into the world, even so I sent them into the world. And for their sakes I sanctify myself, that they might be sanctified through this truth. It says, neither pray I for these alone, but for them also which shall believe on me through their word, that they may be one, that they all may be one, as thou, Father, art in me, and I in thee, that they also may be one in us, that the world may believe that thou hast sent me. You know, that's the main point there.
And that goes into the prophecy. The whole world is going to know.
The whole world is going to every knee shall bow.
They will bow regardless.
Yo, that's badass.
You know, even the elements will bow. The trees will bow. Everything will bow. The ground is going to tremble. The mountains is gonna everything that YAHAWASHI is, everything, all creation is gonna surrender.
And why does the scriptures talk about, why did Yahweh say that all nations shall wail? It's because they're gonna remember then. That's why. And all knees shall bow.
And He's coming with an ass whooping. They're gonna wail. You know?
He's coming with an ass whooping. Start with the sword first.
You know? It's like a parent saying, who created this mess? Take out the belt. And all the kids are like, no way. Maybe it's blah. You know, just whip it.
Why you keep jumping?
You know? Again, this is Psalms chapter 9, verse 17. The wicked shall be turned into hell, and all nations that forget Yahawah, BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, who the world ignorantly call God and Jesus Christ. Fucking hate saying that. All the lies been happening. You know, all been taught to us. It's Yahawah, BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. The original name in ancient Hebrew. It's in your movies. If you got brains to watch it, and I'll give you a few pointers. You know, Raiders of the Lost Ark, that old movie with that dude playing Moses. The Ten Commandments.
Yeah, Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones is Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's
Indiana Jones.
Oh, that's
and the Prince of Egypt animated. If you pay attention to details on the background, it shows you the real Hebrew. Not that modern Hebrew created in 1858 by, well, what's the name of that? That individual that
Elijah Ben Yehuda.
Yeah, the individual that collects more coins than Super Mario. You know? And then more in Psalms chapter 9, verse 18. For the needy shall not always be forgotten. The expectations of the poor shall not perish forever. See what I mean? It seems like forever, but it's not going to be. It will not perish forever, because after you know, after all that suffering, you know, then here comes the glory. You know. Arise.
That's why He said, "I shall wipe the tears off their eyes."
Right.
You know, and all that's just it's going to be likened unto a dream.
It'll be like what is it, change world? Oh, that's stuck to that. You know, this is something. Psalm chapter 9, verse 19. Arise, O Yahawah, let no man prevail. let the heathen be judged in thy sight.
That the heathen be judged in thy sight.
And that's what's going to happen. It happened before, and over again. And this time it's going to be the ultimate. Put them in fear, O Yahawah, that the nations may know themselves to be put, so like it, to be but men.
Damn,
Salah.
bro. Damn.
You know? They're going to be
the
known as
heathens
mere
may know
mortals.
that they're but man.
Mere mortals. Insignificant. Mere servants. That's what it's going to be.
What does that mean? It means to humble them. It means to humble them, man.
Which is going to seize their pride.
He's going to cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease.
It's just going to stop. They say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Sir, what's going on? Sir, what's going on? Sir, what are you going to do?
I don't know. Oh, it's like what happened with Independence Day.
Yeah.
When the people started looking up, right? And they're like, what are you looking at? He's like, and they all get shocked and they just start staring like,
And you see how the modern centurion, known as cops, you know how they carry this, so all that pride. We tell you who you think you are, you know. But in that day, that's just like Independence Day, they saw that chariot coming in, right? And the cop just, his pride seized. It's just an orange shot. And then his car got hit by another car. He looked at his car that got hit, and he's like, he still looked. He didn't care about his car. It was just too much.
oh, damn. Oh, is that what?
It was Judgment Day. That was Judgment.
All
Day.
eyes shall see it.
And that
All eyes.
they shall be amazed by
By the strange salvation.
And the way that movie, you know that we're really, they took it from the scriptures, because when it showed the chariots coming in the city, right? It wasn't on that side. It was coming from the east.
You know that? Yeah. You know.
And that was some
Remember how
heavy.
YAHAWASHI said, look up to them it's not, but it's only for the ones that did right in the eyes of YAHAWASHI. That's what we earnestly desire. We want to be right in the eyes of YAHAWASHI. You know, it's the only way you're going to look up and expect salvation is if you did right in the sight of your master. YAHAWASHI being our Lord. You know,
He wants to see your devotion. He wants to see how much you want YAHAWASHI, you know, that trophy. He wants to see how much integrity you got. He wants to see that. When he's coming down, he wants to see you meditating. He wants to see you praying. He wants to see you fasting. He wants to see you do. He wants to see all that. He wants to see you how much you're thinking about him. He wants to see that you're trying to the best of your ability, regardless. And I mentioned this last time, that no matter what happens, you always get credit to YAHAWASHI. If that's the truth, YAHAWASHI did that. You know, you got to think about him always. Let's say that you crossing the street, it's a red light, right? And you know it's a red light, it's a heavy traffic. You might as well have in your head, you know what? I gotta cross really quick because I don't want YAHAWASHI to just judge me like that. You gotta think about that because he can bring you death. You know, you basically in his hands. You know what? You in his hands. You know, you have to feel only YAHAWASHI.
what was it? Watch that food when you enter into the house, something like that. Work the pyramids. You gotta, you know, that's why we gotta walk with circumspect. Oh, it says,
You know,
that
even if it's a bugger that comes by, right? And trying to be a complete demon, trying to interrupt your lessons.
Jump right to it. It's Ecclesiastes chapter 18, verse 8. 27. He said, a wise man will fear in everything. In the day of sinning, he will observe. He would beware of offense, but a fool will not observe time.
No, they sow too much into themselves.
He doesn't observe time. That's why, for example, when they see chaos from the chariots and stuff like that, what's on Jake's mind? Go loot. Why? You know, like when shit hits the fan, why the hell are people stealing TVs? Why? You know?
And that's why,
stupid.
That's why I say you gotta fear YAHAWAH regardless. Always giving credit in everything. Like, just to finish my point, also on that, when the bug out comes by and trying to interrupt the lessons on your camp, right? And it's trying to, you know, Satan is working with it, and it stirs you up. You don't want to get out of line. You gotta think of man, let me not get out of line, because YAHAWAH can put a judgment on me too. Right. He can put a judgment anytime. He'll have mercy on who he had mercy. He'll have compassion on who he had compassion. You know? That's why everything is controlled by YAHAWAH. You know?
So I wanted to get this real quick. I guess what I just mentioned. When shit is a fan, Jake is going to try to loot. Why are you looting TVs and stuff like that? It's fucking stupid. You know? And it reminded me of this.
Looting TV when there's a blackout.
There's a blackout when shit completely hit the fans. What is the TV going to profit you? You know?
Nothing.
It's dumb. You know, above all, looting is just dumb. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 46. It says, "For strangers shall reap their fruits and spoil their." Oh, it's like 45. Let me start at 45. It says, "And therefore they that labor in vain. For strangers shall reap their fruits and spoil their goods, and overthrow their houses and take their children captive. For in captivity and famine they shall get children. And they that occupy merchandise with robberies, the more they deck their cities, their houses, and their possessions, and their own persons, the more I will be angry with them for their sins, saith Yahawah." BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. That's how it did that.
Anybody else got scriptures?
Nah, that was it for me.
You got some?
Yeah, I've been holding this
Oh,
for a
he's
while.
been holding something, right?
Yeah.
I've been waiting for
Yeah,
the
you read
moment.
it.
Bring it.
Yeah.
It's actually good scripture to end on.
This is 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 17 to 18. "For the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of Yahawah. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of Yahawah? And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where..."
Seriously.
I always do that.
I knew you were going to do that again.
They sound similar on the pronunciation.
I don't know what scarcely is.
Just because you're gonna find out eventually. And if the righteous scarcely, if the righteous be scarcely saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear?
If the righteous be scarcely saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? You know, because there's going to be so much chaos and destruction and death at hand that yo, it's like very thin windows. You know, very thin windows that you know, if you're with YAHAWASHI, you just so happen to walk in.
More like a thin line, that narrow doorway, pretty much.
Yeah, it's like, you know, the Spirit told you to run across the street, right? And right when you get across the street, the street crumbles. You know, sinkholes. And you go like.
The movie 2012.
Or
you know how they trying to take off with the airplane. Or the car. They're going through the car and everything is like crumbling behind.
Final Destination. That one scene when they're on the bridge in the bus. He got up. Everybody get off! Everybody get off the bus! And everybody got off the bus and noticed that the whole bridge just collapsed right after they did all that.
There was another movie called like that. That happened like that. It was the Mothman Prophecy. So that was a horror movie though. You know. But yeah, a lot of destruction. Imagine that. A lot of destruction, right? Happening all around you. And it seems like you're next too because it's so close to you. but you get saved anyways. See, it's like a lottery. It's like a lottery. You know how you play the lottery? Like 1 in a million or 1 in a billion that you can win or whatever, right? You know? This is like a lottery. You know? You know, 144,000 in the elect. 144,000 is the elect. You know?
They have to win.
It's a small remnant. You know? Small remnant. I mean, at least for this time, because the time of Noah, only 8 people got saved. You know? Right? So, you know, it's going to be more happening till the end. You know, it's not going to stop.
More chaos.
More chaos. It's going to get worse. It's going to be a lot of slick, grimy things that this devil's going to do to trying to calm the public. Everything is going to be fine. I got this, I got that. You know, there's going to be a time that he's going to just shut off the grid itself, and nobody's going to know what's going on. Look what happened. Again, we have to bring it up. Maui is a perfect example right now. There's a lot of examples that's not being reported. Like, there's a fire happening in Oregon. There's a fire happening in Greece. There's a major flood, mud flood happening in Italy. You know? There's all kinds of shit going on all around the world. Meanwhile, Babylon the Great, nothing's going to happen here. Everything is all fine. They're going to protect us. Boom! That's what's going to happen. Zap! You know?
They say that, you know, as I mentioned earlier, that everything shall continue as the Father wills.
Oh, man. That reminds me of scripture. I have to bring one out. No matter how many times we could bring this scripture over and over again until your ears start to fall off. Hey, rather your ear fall off than eating a missile. Which one is better? You know? This Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 7. Make no tarry and turn to YAHAWASHI and put off from day to day. For suddenly shall the wrath of YAHAWASHI come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. Set not thine heart upon goods unjustly gotten, for they shall not profit thee in the day of calamity.
Set upon goods that would have been unjustly gotten. Yep. You know, and that goes hand in hand with looting and shit like that. Literally no point. No point. It profits you nothing.
Canning goods,
I think they'll probably loot.
Oh, yeah, that's what it's talking about, the storing up in barns. Yeah, I wish I talked about that.
I think they'll probably loot, thinking everything's gonna eventually go back to normal.
And then they can sell it. They try to invest in stupidity. That's what they're doing.
That's why those type of people, it's gonna hit them much harder when they see the nukes. Like, oh shit, everything's not gonna go back normal, no matter what.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have a realization even before that.
Yeah, sure. The second they see beasts and stuff like that.
Alright, we're going to close up. Alright, face the east. All praises, honor, and glory to
Yahawah,
BAHASHAM,
BAHASHAM,
BAHASHAM.
I want to once again get double honors about the elders great wisdom and the one that discuss this and is edifying your brothers and your female sisters. You know, I'm gonna leave it off with the Shema prayer. So Shema Yashwala, Yahawah Allah Haynawa, Yahawah Achad,
Agabo!
and Shabbat Shalom. Shalom, bye.